You might be damaging your heart right now and not even know it. I'm not talking about smoking junk food or skipping the gym. I mean, tiny everyday habits that seem harmless, things you've probably done today without a second thought. Here's the crazy part. Doctors say these silent habits can quietly wear down your heart for years before you ever feel a thing. And when you finally notice the damage, it's often too late to undo it. But don't panic, because once you know what they are, you can fix them. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 7 of the most common, sneaky heart killers hiding in your routine. And trust me, number 7 is one you'd never expect. Heart disease isn't just a problem for older people or folks with bad diets. It's the number one cause of death worldwide, and it's been holding that grim title for decades. The part that most people don't realize, a lot of it comes from habits that feel completely normal until they catch up with you. According to the American Heart Association, many of the biggest risks start building up years before the first warning sign ever shows up. No chest pain, no shortness of breath, just slow, silent damage until one day your body can't keep up anymore. And here's why I'm so fired up about this. You don't have to overhaul your entire life to protect your heart. The research is clear. Making small, consistent changes to your daily routine can slash your risk in a big way. That's what we're diving into right now. All right, let's break down the 7 everyday habits that quietly damage your heart you should never ignore. Habit 1, sitting for too long. All right, let's start with one of the most common and sneakiest heart hazards, sitting for too long. And I'm not just talking about spending a lazy Sunday on the couch. This is about hours of desk work, long commutes, endless scrolling, even if you also go to the gym. Here's why it matters. When you sit for extended periods, your leg muscles aren't contracting as much, which means your blood flow slows down. This makes it easier for fatty acids to build up in your blood vessels. On top of that, sitting for hours at a time can lead to higher blood sugar, higher blood pressure, and lower levels of good HDL cholesterol, all of which increase your risk of heart disease. The American Heart Association has even compared prolonged sitting to smoking, not because it's literally the same, but because it's so consistently damaging and so widespread. In fact, studies have found that people who sit for more than 8 hours a day without enough physical activity have a risk of dying similar to that of smokers. Now, here's the good news. You don't need to quit your desk job or throw out your couch. The fix is surprisingly simple. Get up and move for at least 2 minutes every 30 to 60 minutes. That could mean walking to get a glass of water, stretching your arms and legs, or even pacing during a phone call. Think of it like hitting the refresh button on your heart and circulation. And here's a little hack. Set a timer on your phone or smartwatch to remind you to stand up. You'll be shocked at how quickly an hour can disappear when you're deep into work or Netflix. Habit 2, skipping breakfast. Now, this one might surprise a lot of people. Skipping breakfast. I get it. Mornings are busy. You've got emails, kids, traffic, and sometimes grabbing breakfast just feels like one more thing on the to-do list. Or maybe you've heard skipping it helps you cut calories. But here's the problem. Your heart might not see it that way. Research from the Harvard School of Public Health found that people who regularly skip breakfast have a 27% higher risk of heart disease compared to those who eat it. Why? When you go too long without food, your body's blood sugar levels drop. To compensate, it triggers hormonal changes, raising cortisol and spiking blood sugar later in the day when you finally eat. Those sudden spikes and drops put extra strain on your arteries and can lead to higher blood pressure and cholesterol over time. And it's not just about the heart. Skipping breakfast often leads to overeating later, choosing more processed or high sodium foods, and, you guessed it, adding even more hidden risk factors for cardiovascular disease. The fix? You don't need to whip up a 5 course brunch at 7 a.m. Even something small and balanced works. A slice of whole grain toast with peanut butter, Greek yogurt with berries, or a boiled egg with some fruit. The goal is to give your body steady fuel so your heart isn't playing catch up all day. Think of breakfast like giving your heart a morning coffee. Without it, it's still going to work, but not at its best. Habit 3, excess salt intake, even if you don't add salt. All right, let's talk about salt. And no, I'm not just talking about the stuff you sprinkle on your fries. Most people think I don't add much salt to my food, so I'm fine. But here's the sneaky truth. Up to 70% of the sodium we eat doesn't come from the salt shaker. It comes from processed and packaged foods. Things like bread, breakfast cereals, soups, sauces, canned beans, frozen meals. Even foods that don't taste salty can be loaded with it. Why is that a problem? Sodium makes your body hold on to extra water. That extra water increases the volume of blood in your vessels, which raises your blood pressure. Over time, that constant pressure puts strain on your heart and arteries, making them stiffer and more prone to damage. High blood pressure is one of the leading causes of heart attacks and strokes. The World Health Organization recommends keeping sodium intake under 2,300 milligrams a day. That's about 1 teaspoon of salt total. But in reality, the average person easily consumes almost double that without even realizing it. The fix: start checking food labels. You'll be shocked at where sodium hides, even in healthy foods like low fat soups or whole wheat bread. Swap out canned goods for fresh or low sodium versions. Rinse canned beans before cooking, pat, and experiment with herbs and spices to flavor your meals instead of relying on salt. And here's a bonus: cutting back on salt doesn't just help your heart, it can improve kidney function and reduce bloating too. So, really, your whole body wins. Habit 4: poor sleep quality. All right, this one is often underestimated: poor sleep quality. A late night binge watch here, a few hours of doom scrolling there, or just staying up because you don't feel tired yet. It doesn't seem like a big deal in the moment, but your heart feels every lost hour. Here's why. When you consistently get less than 6 hours of quality sleep, your body produces more stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones make your heart work harder, raise your blood pressure, and keep your blood vessels in a constant state of tension. Over time, this increases the risk of high blood pressure, irregular heartbeat, and even heart attack. A study published in the European Heart Journal found that people who regularly sleep less than 6 hours a night are about 20% more likely to develop or die from heart disease than those who sleep 7 to 8 hours. And it's not just about the length of sleep, it's also about the quality. Tossing and turning, waking up often, or sleeping in a noisy, bright room can still leave your heart under stress. The fix: set a consistent bedtime and wake up time. Yes, even on weekends. Limit screens an hour before bed to help your brain wind down and keep your room dark, quiet, and cool. If your mind races at night, try a quick journal dump or deep breathing before you sleep. Think of sleep as your heart's overnight repair shop. If you cut the hours short or keep interrupting the work, the damage just keeps piling up. Habit 5: ignoring oral hygiene. This one might sound a little strange. What does brushing your teeth have to do with your heart? More than you think. Your mouth is full of bacteria, and while most of it is harmless, some of it can cause gum disease if it's not kept in check. When you have gum disease, the gums become inflamed and sometimes bleed, creating tiny openings for bacteria to enter your bloodstream. Once inside, these bacteria can trigger inflammation in your blood vessels, and inflammation is one of the key players in the development of heart disease. Over time, this can contribute to the buildup of fatty deposits or plaque inside your arteries, making them narrower and stiffer. The American Dental Association and the American Heart Association have both pointed out a strong link between gum disease and cardiovascular problems. While scientists are still studying the exact cause and effect relationship, the connection is clear. Poor oral hygiene raises your heart risk. The fix: keep it simple. Brush at least twice a day, floss once a day to get between the teeth where your brush can't reach, and see your dentist regularly for checkups. If you notice bleeding gums, don't ignore it. It's often an early sign of gum disease. Remember, your toothbrush isn't just protecting your smile, it's quietly protecting your heart too. Habit 6: chronic stress. We all deal with stress. It's part of life. A deadline at work, a traffic jam, an unexpected bill. Those short bursts of stress are normal, and your body can handle them. But when stress becomes a constant companion, that's when the trouble starts for your heart. Chronic stress keeps your body flooded with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. In the short term, these chemicals help you stay alert and react quickly. But when they stay elevated for days, weeks, or even months, they start to wear down your cardiovascular system. Here's how. Cortisol increases blood pressure and encourages your body to store more fat around the belly. And belly fat is closely linked to heart disease. It also promotes inflammation in your blood vessels, making it easier for plaque to build up and harder for your arteries to stay flexible. Over time, this makes your heart work harder just to do its everyday job. A study from the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that people with high levels of long term stress had a significantly higher risk of developing heart disease, even when other factors like diet and exercise were taken into account. The fix? You can't remove all stress, but you can teach your body to reset. Simple daily practices like deep breathing for 2 minutes, taking a short walk, journaling, or even doing a hobby you enjoy can help lower cortisol levels. For some people, talking to a therapist or counselor can be life changing. Think of stress like a smoke alarm. It's fine if it goes off occasionally, but if it's blaring 24/7, it's not just annoying, it's dangerous. Habit 7. Excess alcohol, even social drinking. All right, let's talk about alcohol, and I'm not just talking about heavy drinking. Even regular social drinking can quietly take a toll on your heart if it adds up over time. Here's the thing. When you drink alcohol, your heart rate and blood pressure rise temporarily. That's not a problem if it's rare, but if you drink often, even in moderate amounts, that repeated strain can lead to long-term damage. Excess alcohol can weaken the heart muscle, a condition called alcoholic cardiomyopathy, cause irregular heart rhythms, and raise your risk of high blood pressure. Research published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology shows that drinking above the recommended limits, more than 1 drink a day for women and 2 for men, according to the CDC, increases your risk of heart failure, stroke, and even sudden cardiac death. And here's what surprises a lot of people. It doesn't matter if it's beer, wine, or cocktails, your heart processes them the same way. The fix? Start by tracking your actual intake for a week. You might be surprised at how much just a glass here and there adds up. Try swapping in alcohol-free days, experimenting with mocktails, or pouring sparkling water with a squeeze of lemon in a wine glass so you still get the ritual without the risk. Remember, your heart doesn't care whether it's a vintage red or a budget beer. Too much is still too much. All right, let's quickly run through these before they slip your mind, because knowing them is one thing, but actually doing something about them is what protects your heart. Number 1, sitting for too long. Get up and move every 30 to 60 minutes. Number 2, skipping breakfast. Give your body a steady start to the day. Number 3, hidden salt. Check those labels and watch the sodium. Number 4, poor sleep. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of good, consistent rest. Number 5, ignoring oral hygiene. Brush, floss, and keep those gums healthy. Number 6, chronic stress. Take micro breaks to breathe and reset. Number 7, excess alcohol. Stick to safe limits and mix in alcohol-free days. Here's the thing, heart damage doesn't happen overnight. It builds quietly day after day until one morning you wake up and realize something's wrong. The good news? That also means you can start reversing the risk today. Every small change you make now, standing up more, sleeping better, managing stress, is like adding years to your heart's life. Don't wait for a scare to take this seriously. Your heart has been working nonstop since the day you were born. Give it the care it deserves, starting now. Before you rush off and start making changes, I need to say this. Everything we've talked about today is general, science-backed advice, but it's not a replacement for medical care. If you have concerns about your heart, or you're dealing with symptoms like chest pain, shortness of breath, or dizziness, talk to your doctor. Your health is too important to gamble on internet guesses. That said, if you found even one tip here that made you think, wow, I should fix that, then take it as a sign to start today. Your heart will thank you every single day you're alive, and so will the people who love you. If you know someone who might be making these same mistakes without realizing it, share this video with them. You never know, it could be the little nudge that helps them avoid something serious later on.